Hello, y'all. So, this is going to be the first of the new series that I talked about in a couple of videos ago called Cuss You Back In, which is a combination of I've been intentionally redirecting my energy when I feel like calling someone out. Because, one, if you're calling someone out, you're not really helping anything, neither yourself nor them. And two, really what you want is for someone to come back into alignment with some part of themselves that you sense within them, which also reflects and means you need to come back into you. So rather than calling people out, call them back in and recognize that every time you do that, you're also needing to call yourself back in. Now, part of the fun of this is that, they say, like, cuss you out. Like, I saw a meme the other day, was like, and tomorrow isn't promised, cuss them out today. But take it the other way. What if instead of getting cussed out, I cuss you back in? Like, back into alignment with who you really fucking are, right? Now, one of my main things right now is how we are with our motherfucking kids, right? So, be ready, because it's gonna fucking come out, okay? So, I know of far too many parents, a lot of them pretty decent fucking parents too, that I sit there and I listen to them tell the stories of their children. And you know what they usually say? I wasn't ready to be a parent. I really didn't want kids, or I was too young, or things didn't work out, or this and that. And then either they tell me that, well, I don't say that around my kids, so they don't know that, not recognizing that kids don't need to hear the fucking words. They see the way you fucking treat them. If you're not there, if you are there and you're resentful, if you're often arguing with them, if you don't believe them, if you don't appreciate them for who they are, even if, you know what, I hear a lot of fucking parents that they'll be like, well, this child was my good one, but that one was really difficult. Them and their terrible twos and threes, and them when they were that teenagers and shit. But this one's good. Or I don't know, they both had their difficult periods and there was this stuff in here, but I don't hear a lot of fucking parents sitting there going, you know what? For all the times that it was challenging, I so much fucking appreciate my kids. They taught me so much about myself. They helped me learn patience. They helped me learn gratitude. How many of you motherfucking parents sit there and say that about your kids? I know you didn't get talked to that way. I know you didn't have a fucking parent that sat there and was like, I'm fucking grateful for you. Thank you for being born. But you know what? You can be the fucking person to change that. You can be the person to bring the fucking wholeness in. You can. You could sit there and look at your kids and be like, you know what? I was a fucking asshole. Or I was a bitch. I should never have fucking said that. I should never have thought that. How dare I fucking sit there and think that you were a burden? Like, I don't have, me, myself, personally, wickedly divine feminine, like, I have plenty of, I'm going to say, irredeemable qualities. I have lots of redeemable qualities too. Well, I have a lot of irredeemable qualities, just like any other adult. But one of the things I've always been proud of myself for is my oldest son. I never once, not fucking once, did I feel like he was a burden on me, nor my youngest either. Like nor my bonus kid, their sister, or any of the other kids that have been in my life. When I found out I was pregnant with my son, my first son, I was filled with so much fucking gratitude. That was such a magical thing to me because I was on birth control and I was only sleeping with his dad, and it was only like maybe twice a month. So I knew exactly, I even knew the day of conception based on where the doctors said that I was pregnant at when I found out when I was almost 4 months. And I went to bat against my dad and others who were like, you should have an abortion. Even if I would, like, I'm pro-choice, but me myself, I don't think I could have done that. But even if I could have, it certainly wouldn't have been after 3 months. Like, what the fuck? That's already clearly a fucking fully formed human life that's gestating in there. How the fucking you gotta fucking tell me to go do that? Like, no, And I had so many people tell you, like, I was 18. First of all, I already made it past most of my friends. I had only one or two that made it past me past that. And I was proud of myself. I was a fucking adult by the time that I got pregnant. I had made sure, even at the age of 15, to be going to teen clinics myself, taking care of myself, doing that shit. And when I found out I was pregnant with my oldest son, I was fucking happy. I didn't even think his dad would be in his life. life, but I was like, you know what? I love his dad. I love, like, if I'm gonna have a baby and I'm gonna be on my own with a baby, I'm fucking grateful that that's his dad, and that even if I never fucking see him again, that we created a beautiful fucking human being that I get to be a part of their life, a part of shaping their life. What an incredible fucking thing. Think about that. As a parent, you get to. No, it is not a motherfucking burden. You do not have to. Plenty of parents either completely fucking abandon their kids, or they like emotionally abandon them. Like, yeah, they might take care of the food, they might have a shelter over their head, they might make sure that, nobody's like beating them and shit, or maybe they don't. Like, I mean, look at my experience. Like, my dad was not an all bad man, but he was an alcoholic for a lot of the first part of my life. And him and my mom were busy fighting and playing the fucking codependent game. And yeah, there was some good parts in there, but I got left with a fair amount of people who were fucking awful and abusive with me. I didn't get protected because they were too fucking busy playing their bullshit pirate games. And you know what? I see a lot of y'all doing the same fucking thing. And you use your kids as your fucking excuse for why you can't get better. Well, I was too young and I wasn't ready. And, well, it's hard. And that one was tough. Or this one's too quiet. Or I don't know what to do with that one. This one's emotional, that one's sexual, that one's suicidal, this one's oppositional, that one's defiant. Like, what the fuck? Do you hear the story that you're fucking telling about your children? Like, yeah, you may feel like your life was put upon, but what the fuck do you think you're doing to your children by telling that story? And I don't care whether you put on the best motherfucking mask you got in front of your kids. If you are thinking it, they are feeling it. If you are speaking it to other adults, to anyone else, your children are feeling that. You could be across the fucking country and they would feel it. On top of that, think about manifestation. Think about modern psychology. Think about ancient psychology. Think about magic. Your words are motherfucking spells. Do you hear me? The shit that you speak becomes things. Just like the actions you take become things. You have sex, you get pregnant, you have a fucking baby. You just manifested that. You are a power motherfucker being. Okay? You are. And when you speak words into the universe, when first they start in your head, that's the first manifestation. You think a thought. When that thought then comes out of words out of your mouth or text out of your fingers or anything like that, it becomes more things. You are that fucking powerful, especially when it comes to being a parent. Because every thought you have, every word you speak, every way you act, every way you treat yourself is shaping the inner world of your child. Everything you do matters. Everything. And the more that you feel like your child or your children are an impediment to your happiness, that they are an obligation rather than a gift, that they were an accident rather than a pleasantly unexpected surprise. It may be true. I'm not saying that it's not fucking true. But you know what? You don't get to have control over all the different things that have happened to you, but you do always get control over how you feel about it. And if you are not ready to be the motherfucking first example of that to your children, where are they going to learn it from? Especially because think about where you came from. I bet you that if you think that way about your kids or you speak that way about your kids, I would be willing to bet a lot. I bet my left boob, how about that? That you got spoken to that way. Or you got left alone so much that you felt it, even if it wasn't spoken. Or you got put in shitty situations that were extremely fucking immature on your parents' part. And that fucked you up. I bet you did not get spoken to in the sense of your parents saying, thank you for being born. I fucking cherish you. You changed my life in a million beautiful ways. And I bet you that's why when you have children and you think of them as a burden or, oh my gosh, this is hard or how am I going to do this? Yeah, you know what? I may not have ever thought that about the start of the story of my children's lives. I've had moments where I felt like having children made things a little more challenging. But you know what? Because of my experiences of always being the child that felt like a fucking burden, no matter what the fuck I did. And as a Capricorn, I can guarantee you I did most shit for my fucking self. I'm not saying that I did everything for myself. No. In fact, I had parents that were simultaneously neglectful and overzealous on helicoptering on the shit that they felt was important. So I get it. I get where the fucking kids come from. I get where the adults come from. I get all fucking sides. I don't know exactly how many things happened along my life, along the way of my fucking story in my life that got me to a healthier fucking point than most fucking parents, but I am ready, fucking ready to stand up to every motherfucking adult in this world, good, bad, in between, and be like, cherish your motherfucking kids, damn it. You know what? You could say maybe you went out fucking one like I don't care if you got 12 kids and you're like every time I had one I got drunk and someone fucking did shit with me when I wasn't aware. You still get the fucking choice to decide how you feel about having children. And even if you weren't ready, even if you didn't mean to, fucking put them first for fuck's sake. The whole reason you ended up in a situation where you may have had children before you were ready or when you did not want them is because your parents did not put you first all the way. And they also did not provide an example of how and when to put themselves first in a healthy balance with putting you first, which is what you need to do too. Because I hear a lot of fucking parents sitting out there being like, but I do put my kids first. I put them completely first. But you know what? The only parents that I fucking see doing that are the ones who really aren't, or they are, and then they're using their kids for their excuses for why they don't have real friendships, or they're using their kids as a reason for why they can't be bigger in the world, why they can't be more successful, why their relationships don't work out, why they need more money, why they need to trap somebody in, why they have to be in relationships, why they have to have a break. Motherfucker, inner peace starts from within, and it don't matter what situation you got around you, it's your fucking choice. That's the only thing you can control in this world is how you decide to feel and think and speak about your story. You have a choice. You can either let your kids grow up feeling like they are nothing more than a burden or a tool or a valueless thing that you brought into this world and never fucking wanted, or you can make them feel like they were brought into this world to do something significant and not that they have to do this giant fucking thing. It could be very simply that they're a good brother, a big brother or sister, good little brother or sister, that they are kind, that they fed some squirrels one day. You don't know how the fucking ripple effects might affect them. Like, that could have been a great fucking purpose for them to come into this world. And you know what? They may fucking fulfill that purpose simply because they didn't feel like they were a fucking burden. They had some extra fucking love to give and they went and gave it to some squirrels, which maybe saved that family of squirrels. And maybe that fucking family of squirrels became a meal to a hawk that fucking then was able to feed its family. And maybe that fucking hawk that lived another fucking day flew overhead for somebody who is having a shitty fucking day, and they feel like looking up that totem and finding that it has to do with making better resource of making better use of your energy and seeing the long-term view, and that may change that fucking person's life. But not if that person wasn't open to looking up in the sky and seeing a hawk and thinking that that was a beautiful thing. Because you know how many fucking people look up and go, it's just a fucking bird. The same amount of people that look at their kids and go, I love them, but I just wasn't ready for kids, and I didn't, I didn't want this, or or oh, you know what, I really wanted kids until I had this one. This one was really fucking hard. Or how many of us fucking parents will get stuck in the negative? Oh, I love my kids, but they're so difficult. They do this, they do that, they do this, they do that, they do this. But you know what? You didn't fucking like it when that happened to you. And I can guarantee if you're speaking that way or thinking that way about your children, it fucking happened to you. But the children do not deserve to have what happened to us be taken out on them. When, especially when most of the time, aside from the fact that they do not fucking deserve it, they're usually reflecting us, and we don't even want to fucking see it. You could have a kid that argues with you about every motherfucking thing, and I guarantee you, if I sat down and watched the two of you talk, you probably do 50% of the arguing at least. You know how many fucking parents I've sat and called in about that and be like, "You're quite argumentative, you know?" And they'll be like, "It's them," and I'll be like, "No, it's you." And guess what? If your child is argumentative or your child is doing things, it's always the parents. It is. It's not a blame the parents thing. It's a thing of we are not fully conscious as children that we can make our own choices. Our brains are designed to make us dependent on our parents for our survival until we are physically and emotionally ready. Like we're one of the species that takes the longest to emotionally mature to the level to where we can be on our own and be healthy. And then that's even more increased by the fact that the way that we go around with this like victim, villain, hero consciousness, the fucking savior syndrome and damsel in distress and imposter syndrome and all this fucking shit. So even to the level we should be naturally, biologically, emotionally mature enough, or not because we fucked each other up. And it all starts with the story of how we were born. If you had a story where your fucking parents said that they didn't want you or you were an accident, or even if you weren't those things, you were a fucking burden to them, and that they gave and sacrificed, and oh, I gave to you and you were never grateful, and or you were grateful but you were fucking hard, or you did this thing, you know what? How the fuck did that feel to you? And if you can sit there and be in a place and be like, I don't care anymore, I cut them off, or da da da, guess what? You're still emotionally constipated and you're just like your fucking parents at this point if you're doing that. The way to get to wholeness, the way to heal, is you got to start within you. You got to stop looking at externals and using your kids as your excuse for why you can't do this or why you can't do that, why you can't get a better job, why you can't get in a better situation, why you can't manifest it. Because the only thing that's really stopping you from getting into a better fucking situation is starting in your mind. What you believe is true, and you will always fucking find evidence for it. Look it up. It's called confirmation bias. Look it up. It's called law of attraction. Look it up. I don't care which way you want to go about it. You want dry logic? You want watery emotion? You want psychology? You want magic? You want alchemy? I could prove it to you probably 100 different fucking ways. It all comes back to the same motherfucking shit. What you believe is true, and your brain will find the fucking evidence to make it fucking true. And if you are telling a story in your head or your heart that your children were a burden from the start, from the get go, an accident, that they're difficult, that they're challenging, even if, I don't care if your motherfucking doors stay on the outside. I don't care if you're fucking, what is it, June and Jack Cleaver? Or no, June and Ward Cleaver? I don't fucking care if you fucking act like that on the outside. If you feel like your children are a burden on your inside, you do not have inner peace. And it actually means that you feel like you are a burden. And then your children are going to fucking start to act that way simply because you are manifesting it. You are looking, your brain, without you consciously knowing it, is looking for that confirmation bias, looking for the shit in your children to confirm that they are a burden because you've made them your motherfucking excuse. And when you do that, you prove it to yourself. And even when they're doing their damnedest to communicate with you, to tell you they love you, to get affection from you, to get attention from you, sometimes by almost any means necessary, until the point to where not only do they not want to talk to you or be around you or do anything, they don't see any point to existing. That's when kids start talking about being unalive. Because what's the fucking point if your own fucking parents couldn't find it within themselves to even for a moment believe, not just tell a better story about you, but believe a better story about you as their child? Then what is the point in going out into the rest of the world and trying to make anything work if your own fucking parents didn't feel like you were a gift given to them, that the obligation of you wasn't a beautiful experience full of growth opportunities and intrigue and interest and mystery and magic? then how could you, I mean, even subconsciously, how could you ever feel like anyone else ever would? So think about that. Go through your own fucking shadow work. Your kids deserve it.